Saving for retirement is probably one of the biggest financial goals for most people, and yet trying to figure out how much you should be saving, it can be somewhat stressful and confusing. It is also one of the number one questions that I hear from people all the time, and that is, how much should I be saving for retirement? Or am I saving enough? And here's the thing, getting to this number is not an exact science. In this video, I am going to provide you with 5 simplified steps to help you figure out what your retirement number is. And it's going to be with tools that you already have at your fingertips. So make sure you stay until the end. Hey there, Renee Collins here, CPA, financial planner, and I am also the founder of Retire Ready. And I am here to help you save more, invest smart, and build wealth so that you can retire ready too. So if you like this video, if you find this information useful, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. And I want to thank you in advance for being here. Many financial experts will recommend blanketed savings rates, such as, oh, you should be saving 10%, 20%, maybe 15% of your gross income. But in reality, saving for your retirement is not a one-size-fits-all. What your coworker is contributing into their 401k is honestly not any of your business. No, seriously, you don't know what their retirement goals are. Their retirement goals may be different from yours. They may want to buy a yacht on the coast of Costa Rica someplace, or maybe they're going to be moving at some point in time from where they are now. What's important is that you focus on what is your retirement going to look like. That is what's going to determine how much you should be saving for your retirement. Saving for retirement is very personal, and no two retirement plans are the same. So how much you should be saving for retirement is going to be dependent entirely upon your unique financial situation and your financial goals. And honestly, answering this question is going to require a little bit of soul searching. So let's start with step 1, and that is defining your ideal retirement. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to reflect on, what are your passions? What is it that you really want to do in retirement that maybe you don't even have time to do now? Do you want to travel? Do you want to spend time in France and maybe cooking and drinking wine? Maybe you'll move closer to your family and your friends. What are your hobbies? Is there a hobby that you would love to explore? Or maybe you have a bucket list. Now is a great time to take a look at it and see, is there something on my bucket list that I haven't done that I would love to fulfill in retirement? And listen, I know this can be a tough exercise for a lot of people, especially if retirement is, say, 10, 15, 20 years away. I mean, who knows what you're going to be doing 10 years away from now? But here, I want to help you with a little exercise. I want you to think for a second that maybe you won the lottery. Woohoo! Take money off the table. Money is no longer an option. What would you do? What would you do today? And who would you do it with? So the point of this exercise is to move you closer to what is really important to you, to align your retirement plans to your values and help you connect with your future self, to help you connect with the person you see yourself becoming in the future. This exercise can help you envision what your retirement lifestyle could look like and the financial resources that you will need in order to support it. I believe that this is the number one question that we should be discussing when we're talking about retirement. We're talking about retirement planning. I know it's the first question that I ask my clients is, what does retirement look like? What are you planning to do with those 24 hours? What are you planning to do to fill those 24 hours? I mean, if you really think about it, we probably spend about 12 to 14 hours on work-related activities. I mean, we get up in the morning, we get dressed, we commute to work, we have lunch with our co-workers, then we commute back home. That's probably a good 12 to 14 hours per day. So what are you going to do in retirement to fill those hours? This is a very important question that you should ask yourself, because in reality, this question is going to drive your retirement planning. And you may not be able to see the entire retirement picture. It's okay. What's important is that you at least start thinking about it, because once you have the answer to this question, then you can reverse engineer your retirement planning process so that you can get closer to your retirement number and how much money you should be saving. Now, next, we're going to estimate your retirement expenses. And here's the connection that I want you to make. The plans that you have in retirement are going to drive how much you should be saving for retirement. So someone who wants to sit in their rocking chair, maybe drinking lemonade, watching their babies play, their grandbabies play in their front yard, they're not going to need as much money as someone who's maybe more of a jet setter, who wants to travel all over the world, run with the bulls in Spain. Someone like that is going to need a little bit more money. So understanding what retirement looks like for you is going to be your driving force towards determining how much you should be saving for retirement. And you may not know, as I mentioned before, the key here is to just be flexible. So next, we want to calculate your retirement expenses. And for now, we're going to keep it in the present, but more than likely, your expenses for retirement, they're going to be higher just due to inflation. But we're going to address that later on in this video. So let's start with thinking about expenses that you will no longer have in retirement, such as commuting. You won't be commuting back and forth to work, and maybe you buy clothing for your job or you have uniforms for your job. You will no longer have that. You won't be contributing into your retirement plan anymore, so we can take that off the table as well. And then what about a mortgage? Will you have a mortgage in retirement? Or maybe your goal, like mine, is to pay off your mortgage, but you'll still have your property taxes, your insurance, and of course, your upkeep on your home. Okay, so what are some of the expenses that you will more than likely still have during retirement? Things like you'll still have groceries, you'll still have health care. So as you can see here, we have a retirement plan thanks to AI, who created this retirement plan for me. And you can see here that there is some rent just in case the person has not paid off their mortgage. Maybe they rent, and that's okay too. There's home insurance, some things that you'll see, healthcare costs I have here at $500 a month. That's probably a little bit on the low side, to be honest with you. Right now, we're just trying to get a simplified number for our retirement income. One of the things that I really want to point out here, though, is the travel and entertainment expenses. This is really important because, again, I want you thinking about what are you going to be doing for leisure in retirement. And some people oftentimes will think that they're going to spend less in retirement, but they actually end up spending more because they're traveling more. They're doing a lot of things that they've always wanted to do, but haven't had the time to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to calculate our monthly expenses. Here you see that the monthly expenses here are $4,500 a month. We're going to take this, multiply it by 12 so that we can basically annualize it. Then I want you to determine what is the percentage of these expenses to your gross income. Let's assume that your annual income is $70,000. If I take the $54,000 and I divide it by $70,000, I get 77%. Now I'm going to round it up just for simplicity. Now, the general rule is that you will need approximately 65 to 80% of your annual income to live in retirement. But I really don't like general rules because remember, personal finance is just that. It's personal. So I do recommend going through a calculation similar to this so that you can get an estimate of your future retirement expenses. Now, in this particular exercise, we have personalized it a little bit, so it's not totally general. In this exercise, again, we can see that our annual expenses to our annual income is going to be about 80%. And that's going to be important because later in the video, we're going to use a retirement income calculator to help us get to our retirement income number. So next, you want to determine if there is some income that you're going to have during retirement that you can pretty much rely upon throughout your retirement. The income that I'm referring to are things like a pension. Can you expect to receive a pension from your employer? And if so, then I recommend that you contact your employer to find out how much you can expect to receive from your pension. The second source of income that many Americans rely upon because it is the financial foundation for retirement for them is Social Security. And if you don't know how much you're going to be receiving from Social Security, then I definitely recommend that you go to the Social Security Administration's website and download your annual statement. And then for some people, a third source of income could be an annuity. So if you have an annuity that you can pretty much rely upon throughout retirement, that can be another source of income that you can add to your calculation. Now we're going to calculate the savings gap. So next we want to calculate your savings gap. Let's assume that you expect to receive $1,800 a month from Social Security or $21,600 annually. Your anticipated expenses are $54,000. That difference between the $54,000 and the $21,600, that difference of $32,400 is considered to be your projected annual retirement shortfall, or the gap. So you can see here that you're going to need an additional $32,000 per year to cover this gap. Now, this is the amount that's going to come from your retirement savings. That is the money that you have saved in your 401ks, your IRAs, your taxable brokerage account. The gap represents how much you need to withdraw each year from your retirement savings to supplement your income. Knowing this retirement savings gap is going to be key in determining how much money you should be saving each year as you lead up to your retirement. You want to aim to have enough saved by retirement to cover the entire gap. If the gap is too big, then you may have to revisit your planned expenses or adjust your retirement age or adjust your savings rate. Now we're going to talk about determining when do you plan to retire. Your retirement age is going to be a really important factor as well, because the earlier that you retire, the more money you're going to need for retirement. So someone who's retiring at the age of 55 is going to need more money saved than someone who's going to be retiring at the age of 70, or even someone who is planning to retire in a transition fashion. So maybe someone who is planning to retire early, maybe 60, 65, but they are going to perhaps open up a business or work on a part-time basis. So when you retire, it does make a difference. Now, let's take what I have discussed here and apply it to Vanguard's Retirement Income Calculator. We are at Vanguard's Retirement Income Calculator, and I will be sure to include a link to their website in the description under this video. So first, let me start off by saying that planning for your retirement is based on a variety of different factors, as you know by now. And some of that is not illustrated in this simplified retirement calculator. The purpose of this calculator is really just to either help you get started on your retirement planning journey, or maybe you're just not sure that you're moving in the right direction or you're saving enough. This retirement calculator can help point you into the right direction. So remember that it's a high-level, bird's-eye view, back of the napkin calculator to get to your retirement number. Let's go ahead and get started with your retirement story. I really like this title that Vanguard has created for this calculator because it really emphasizes the importance of viewing retirement as this unique and personalized journey, because
That's what it is. It's your retirement story. It's more than just a set of numbers. It is this narrative about what's important to you. What do you want retirement to look like? What are your lifestyle choices? What are your financial goals? As we navigate through this calculator together, just keep in mind that your retirement story is dynamic and it's going to evolve over time as your circumstances change. And the calculator should also be a complement to a comprehensive financial plan that consists of investment strategies, takes into consideration healthcare costs, and also the fluctuations of the market. So again, this is really a foundational tool to help you get started on your retirement journey. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the features of this calculator and explore how can it assist you in understanding your retirement needs. So let's start here with age. For the purposes of this calculator, I just put in 40 years old, and I'm going to assume that this person is going to retire at age 67. We'll start there. We've talked about how much the person makes. They make $70,000 a year. And for now, I'm going to assume that they're saving about $12,000 or 17% of their income for retirement. And then here, I'm also making the assumption that they've saved some money. They're on their journey towards retirement, and they're trying to figure out how much more they should be saving for retirement or if they're on the right journey. And we talked about how you think you're going to need, for the purpose of our illustration, about 80% of your income, of your current income, and that you expect to have an annual return of about 8%. Now, I do want to stop here and just talk a little bit about this right here. Your annual rate of return is going to be dependent upon your investment asset allocation. And an asset allocation in a portfolio, basically, it represents your combination of your stocks and bonds. And you see here that Vanguard, they're providing you with some guidance to help you estimate your rate of return. From 1926 through 2020, they state here that the average rate of return on bonds was 6.1%. And the average rate on stocks during the same time period was 10.3%. Now, here are a couple things that I think is important to point out. First, from a historical standpoint, it's not necessarily indicative of what is going to happen in the future. These historical rates of returns, they provide valuable insights into the market trends over a specific period, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be true in the future. I think that's very important to point out. We use this information as guidance to help us estimate the rate of return because there's no guarantee of future results. The second thing that I want to point out is that this does not represent how much you're going to earn each year. You're not going to receive 10% every single year because the market, it fluctuates over time. So just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. So when you take a look at this, you see here, I use 8% because I'm going to assume that this portfolio is going to have bonds in it as well as stocks in it. So it's not going to be 100% bonds, nor will it be 100% stock. Now let's go down to the additional income sources. If you anticipate receiving Social Security benefits or a pension, that's where you want to put that information. You want to put that information in here. And if you're not sure how much your Social Security benefits are going to be, then I recommend taking a look at the Social Security Administration's website, creating an account, and then downloading your annual earnings statement. And it will provide you with an estimate of your future benefits. And then they also have a neat little calculator on their website that could really prove beneficial in determining what your future benefits are going to be as well. So for the purpose of this exercise, I assume that the estimated monthly Social Security benefit is going to be $1,800. And then I also assume that this person is not going to be receiving a monthly pension. If you want to learn more about how to estimate your Social Security benefits, again, you can go to the Social Security Administration's website, and Vanguard will also offer you links to the website from here. So let's take a look at your results. Based on the information that you provided, when you retire at age 67, your retirement savings balance would be $798,900. So pretty much close to $800,000. Your estimated monthly expenses would be $4,667. They have basically adjusted this for inflation. And you can also expect that your monthly income is going to be $4,463. So right away you notice that your monthly income is a little bit lower. It's not enough to fulfill your monthly expenses of $4,667. So I also think that it's important to determine how is this information calculated. So we can come over here and click on this little link that Vanguard has here, and they provide you with information on how did they come to these results. When we're creating retirement plans, we have to use assumptions in order to get to a retirement number or retirement goals. And it's important to understand what those assumptions are because they can make a difference in your planning. So you want to make sure that you understand what assumptions are being used. Vanguard provides us with some guidance on how they got to their retirement results. They're using an investment strategy that is called the 4% rule. So they start by first understanding what your retirement balance is going to be based on the inputs that you've entered. And then they assume that you can afford to spend 4% of that balance each year and be reasonably confident that you won't run out of money during retirement. And then they also tell you that they've adjusted those numbers for inflation. And in this case, they assume inflation would be 3%. So it's important to understand what assumptions are used in your retirement planning. Okay, so as you see here, we have to do some tweaking to this plan because right now our expenses are still exceeding our income. So feel free to go back into the plan and maybe you will make your retirement age, I don't know, maybe it's 70, or maybe you can go into your plan and you can increase how much you want to save each year. Let's see if that makes a difference. I mean, you could do a lot of different things, you know. You can also come in here and maybe you want to change how much you think you'll need to spend in retirement. You know, you may be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to saving for retirement. You may tweak this number here. So let's see, how does the two changes I made, how does that impact retirement? Okay, wow, it has a significant impact, really. So if we take a look at it now, what we see here is that our retirement balance has gone up significantly because we extended our retirement age out by 3 years. So when you retire, it does make a difference. And you can see that in this illustration here. So go back, tweak your plan, tweak these numbers to see what actually works for you. Well, guys, that is all that I have today. Like I said, retirement planning is a much more involved planning process. It's impacted by a number of factors, especially your plans for retirement. Whatever your retirement goals, what do you visualize yourself doing in retirement? All of this can have an impact. If you're at a place where you just want to get started or you're not sure if you're on track, then Vanguard's retirement income calculator, it's a great tool. It's a great foundation starter, and at least it will point you towards that right direction. All right, that's all that I have this time, and I will see you guys next week. In the meantime, take care and go be great today. Hey there, I hope you found this video useful, and if so, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and go be great today.